You guys played Kentucky earlier this year.
Yep.
What do you remember from that game?
Oh, I remember that they surprised us a little bit. They jumped out on us. We made a few errors there to start with. They hit close fairly well, and I had to make a change and bring Maggie in, and Maggie pitched okay and gave up a couple runs there as well. And so they did pretty good offensively against us. And then we came back late on them, and Nikki Udrea hit the home run to win the game, actually. So it was a good result in the end, but it was kind of a sloppy game. So hopefully, I think this is going to change from what it was then.
Did you put much stock into that at all?
A little bit. Obviously, I'll go back and look at the tape, and but they didn't start Prince against us, so they started Shannon Smith. So maybe Smith starts a little bit different than she comes in.
Udrea, I think, had 2 homers against him the year before. Is there anything special to that matchup, or she just happened to come through against Kentucky a couple of times?
He just happened to come through, I think, a little bit. And boy, I'd love to see Nikki get hot. She's due, that's for sure. And hopefully that is something that she'll get going this weekend.
It's like your freshmen have been picking up some slack. How did they handle the postseason stage, and what are your thoughts on that group going forward?
Well, I thought obviously they did really well last weekend. Camuso, Rhodes obviously had an excellent tournament. Miranda came through with some big hits there at times, and of course Maggie pitched well. So I'm hoping that is something that they'll build on, and feed off the crowd. Obviously, it was a great atmosphere here last weekend. Electric, a lot of people. I think it'll be even louder this weekend.
Coach, what about the super regional stage just in general? I mean, you guys have had mixed results, pretty good results, obviously last year, the UCLA Series and stuff. What have you learned about just the super regional stage that you can take forward this year?
Well, if you win the first game, it doesn't mean you're going to win the series. But obviously it's the team that plays the best on the day, and now it's changed to a 3-day series if needed. I think that helps even things out just a little bit. I think that we're playing well right now. I think that should help us. But we know we're playing a team that's well coached. Rachel Lawson's a very good coach, and they have a couple of left-hand pitchers and a right-hand pitcher. So they have some mix in there for us to deal with. And defensively, they're really good. Their shortstop's excellent. Makes great plays. So we've got to really work to score our runs, I think.
You like the new format? Fair to say you were a fan of this new format?
Yes, I think so. I think there's so much to play for at this part of the season. You're playing for obviously a berth to go to the championship series, and to have it come down to a 20-minute break and try and rebuild if you're the team that happens to lose that if game, is very tough. So I think this really helps to find the best team over the course of 3 days.
Is the UCLA series from last year kind of like taboo, or do you bring it up and talk about it at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm going to bring it up and touch on it. I mean, you can't pretend it's not there. Obviously, our offense stumbled a little bit. I think our pitching did a pretty good job just giving up 2 runs over the 2 games, but offensively we scored 2 runs against a team that we scored 8 off the day before. Kind of was a shock, to how we performed. So hopefully we're able to. Our offense is different this year, though. We kind of manufacture some runs. We're kind of scrappy, to use that term, and hopefully we'll find a solution to that.
You mentioned how big it would be if Nikki got hot. It seems like she hasn't been racking up the hits recently, but she's still been productive most of her at bats. Do you need her to get hot, or do you think just her moving runners over and getting RBI groundouts is enough?
Well, I think obviously it's about scoring runs, it's about production, it's about doing the little things, and sometimes you don't get the hit on the scoreboard, but if you're able to move runners in key situations and score those runs, that's what counts. It's about getting the W, and sometimes it may take 1 run, and sometimes you may have to score 5, like it was last Saturday. We had to score 6 runs to win that game. So every innings it may be a different situation, and just do what's needed at that time.
Do you know how you plan to use your pitching staff to start off the series?
Not yet. I'm still deliberating on that one, but it'll probably either be Maggie, Megan, or Miranda.
What about the Pac-12 versus the SEC? Does the SEC have like 8 teams in or something like that?
They had 13 teams going. I think there's, I don't know what's through to super regional. Obviously I'm looking at what we're handling right now, but I don't like to play up the SEC versus Pac-12. I think that obviously there's a different number of teams in that conference than what we have. They have 13 and we have 9. But all I know is that the Pac-12 was a lot stronger this year, and I think that's helped us, especially the pitching in the conference overall was really good, and I think that's helped prepare us for the postseason.